Webinar started.
Good morning and welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. At this time, we ask that you silence all electronic devices, and at no time is anyone to approach the dais. If you have any questions during the hearing, please see the Sergeant-at-Arms. Chair, we're ready to begin.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a meeting of the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. I am Councilmember Kevin Riley, Chair of this subcommittee. Today I'm joined by Council Members Hanks, Abreu, Carr, Aviles, and remotely by Councilmember Moya. Today we are scheduled to hold 3 hearings. The first hearing concerns LUs 137 for a project known as 150 Mill Street. The second hearing concerns LUs 138 and 139 for a project known as 31-17th 12th Street rezoning. The third and last hearing concerns LUs 140 and 141 for a project known as 250 86th Street. This meeting is being held in a hybrid format. Members of the public who wish to testify may testify in person or on Zoom. Members of the public wishing to testify remotely may register by visiting the New York City Council's website at www.council.nyc.gov/land-use to sign up, and for those of you here in person, please see one of the Sergeant-at-Arms to prepare and submit a speaker's card. Members of the public may also view a live stream broadcast of this meeting at the Council's website. When you are called to testify before the subcommittee, you are joining us remotely. You will remain muted until recognized by myself to speak. When you are recognized, your microphone will be unmuted. Please take a moment to check your device and confirm that your mic is on before you begin speaking. We will limit public testimony to 2 minutes per witness. If you have additional testimony you would like to submit, if you have additional testimony you would like the subcommittee to consider, if you have the written testimony you would like to submit instead of appearing in person, please email it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Written testimony may be submitted up to 3 days after the hearing is closed. Please indicate the LU numbers or the project name in the subject line of your email. We request that the witnesses joining us remotely remain in the meeting until excused by myself, as council members may have questions. Lastly, for everyone attending today's meeting, this is a government proceeding and decorum must be observed at all times. Members of the public are asked not to speak during the meeting unless you are testifying. The witness table is reserved for people who are called to testify, and no video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recording as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant-at-Arms for inclusion in the hearing records. I will now open the first public hearing on LUs 137 relating to the 150 Mile Street rezoning proposal in Councilmember Villa's district in Red Hook, Brooklyn. The proposal consists of rezoning a manufacturing area from M1-1 to M1-5 to create primarily new office space. The proposed site is located within the Southwest Brooklyn Industrial Business Zone. For anyone wishing to testify on these items remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online, and you may do that now by visiting the Council's website at council.nyc.gov/land-use. And once again, for anyone with us in person, please see one of the sergeants to prepare and submit a speaker's card. If you would like to prepare to submit a written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. We've been joined by Councilmember Showman, and I would like to give the floor to Councilmember Villas to give her remarks for this project.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good morning. We've been here for hours. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Again, thank you, Chair, and thank you to members of the committee who are here today. I'm Councilmember Alexa Viles, here to discuss the 150 mil rezoning application. The application proposes a zoning map amendment from an M11 to an M15 to facilitate the development of a new 10-story commercial building in Red Hook, Community District 6, Brooklyn. The development site falls within the Southwest Brooklyn Industrial Business Zone, the IBZ. While the application seeks a higher density industrial zoning designation, the development proposal as filed in the official documents with the Department of City Planning describes an entirely commercial and so-called community facility building with very little space for industrial or manufacturing uses. The proposed M15 does not require or incentivize industrial space. From the start, unfortunately, the applicant never sought to use tools specifically geared for industrial manufacturing. I'm dedicated to the growth and the preservation of the industrial sector and industrial jobs in District 38. Despite the historic decline of manufacturing sector in New York City, the larger industrial sector remains an important source of middle-wage jobs with low barriers to entry. According to an analysis by DCP, 33% of all New York City jobs at least pay $50,000 and are available to those without a college degree and are in the industrial sector. Because this property falls within the industrial business zone, we must see a strong, credible commitment to industrial use. I'm passionate about keeping the character and function of the IBZ alive, as this is a major land use principle I use to guide development in our district. This sentiment has been evident throughout the application process and made clear to all parties involved. While I appreciate the applicant's involvement throughout the ULURP process, I feel this application falls short of a credible commitment to an industrial use while falling within the IBZ and the heart of industrial businesses. I do not wish to see the integrity of the IBZ compromised. Mapping an M15 district here without a concrete and credible plan to preserve and grow industrial jobs could set a precedent for commercial conversion of this entire portion of the IBZ. As the Borough President's recommendation for disapproval states, without a viable mechanism to hold the applicant to a commitment that maintains industrial character and uses, the proposed zoning change introduces flexibility contrary to the broader goals of the IBZ. The Department of City Planning is about to begin intensive work on a citywide industrial strategic plan required by Local Law 172 of 2023. The IDSP will involve detailed analysis of citywide needs and trends for the industrial sector, and each IBZ including recommendations for economic development goals, potential capital investments, and land use policy goals. This plan will provide much-needed analysis to better inform appropriate zoning districts and policy goals for each IBZ. I would like to thank Community Board 6, the Borough President, the City Planning Commission, and my colleagues on the Zoning Committee Subcommittee in the Council for their thoughtful evaluation of this proposal. I look forward to hearing from the development team, from my constituents, and from the public at today's meeting to further address the concerns many other stakeholders have about this proposal. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Vilas. I will now call the applicant panel for this item, which consists of Richard LaBelle, Will Pitcu, and Nick Liberis. Council, please administer the affirmation.
Please raise your right hand and state your name for the record.
Richard Lobel.
Valen Pilko.
Nicholas Liberis.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony today in response to council member questions?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. For the viewing public, if you need a accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. And now the applicant team may begin. Please, gentlemen, please reinstate your name and organization for the record. You may begin.
Thank you, Chair Riley. Richard Lobel of Sheldon Lobel PC for the applicant. Good morning / afternoon. We're here today to discuss the 150 Mill Street rezoning. This rezoning has been in process for close to 4 years, and Willie and the entire applicant team has really worked diligently to create a coalition, which resulted in a 28-2 vote in favor of this application. Community Board 6, no easy feat. In addition to which, we have representatives from powerful community organizations in the room with us today, who I know will provide testimony and support. With regards to the land use rationale of the application, the next slide, here's a description of the application. So this is a proposed zoning map amendment, which would change an existing M11 district to an M15 district. And we'll go through some of the maps and photos to demonstrate why we think that there's a strong land use rationale here. And then Nick Liberis, the project architect, will go through some plans and materials to show the illustrative plans. This rezoning would cover the entirety of 6 lots and portions of 6 other lots, constituting roughly 4 zoning lots. The development site, 2 adjacent lots, and a gas station. Right here on our development site, this would facilitate the development of a roughly 10-story building, 64,000 square feet, which would have a mix of uses, including commercial, would have light manufacturing, community facility, and office space. There would be a supermarket on the ground floor, light manufacturing and community space on the second floor, ambulatory diagnostic uses on the 4th floor, and offices on the remaining floors. We have been in diligent discussions with local nonprofits in order to secure a community benefits agreement, which would be executed and recorded prior to the time of any council determination. And we've also had significant conversations with the Southwest Brooklyn IDC and reached out to them, had conversations, meetings, emails, and such, no fewer than 6 or 7 communications with them. They basically said that they would be unable to sign a restrictive declaration, but we did draft that, send it to the council, and are confident that we could record something at the site which would be binding and require the applicant to allow for the requisite light manufacturing uses. The next slide demonstrates some of the community benefits, which have been the subject of frequent conversations with the community board and other stakeholders. There's a supermarket proposed for the ground floor of the site, which would provide access to fresh and affordable groceries. One of the things that compelled us to move forward with a food market and a fresh store is our conversations with the community when they demonstrated that there were not good options in the area for produce, for fresh foods, etc. And so the opportunity to provide that in this expanded building was very important to the applicant and to the community in general. There were lengthy conversations about the lack of fresh options, about the sad state of produce in nearby supermarkets, and it was something which really compelled our action here. There would also be community space for local nonprofits, as is recorded in the community benefits agreement. There would be meeting rooms for local nonprofits to collaborate and serve the community. There would be light industrial space. Again, this is mentioned in the community benefits agreement and would also be in the restrictive declaration with regards to small-scale manufacturing and production space. There's maker space, which would empower local individuals in kind of smaller, tailored space to allow for creative and entrepreneurial work, provide for innovation and craftsmanship within the local community. And then there also, importantly, would be job training. This was an important aspect of the application, as was requested by local nonprofit organizations, which would allow for classroom space for job training programs, something which is absent from the surrounding area. The next slide is the zoning map, which kind of gives an overview. We'll go into the area map, which is a little bit more detailed, but you can see, generally speaking, that to the northeast on the second map and to the west, there are residential districts which abound here, including Red Hook, the Red Hook houses, which is the largest NYCHA development in Brooklyn. To the east here, next slide, please. You can see to the east, the southeast, and the south are M districts, manufacturing districts, specifically as we are located along the Gowanus Expressway. The next slide is the tax map, which shows the specific delineation, again, with these 4 zoning lots included, although there are portions of other lots. It's really these 4 sites, including the applicant's site in red, 9,900 square feet. And the next slide is the area map, which I think really tells the story of why this rezoning is important and not just one which is elective. So you've got an area where you have a dense residential population, and the idea here of the opportunity to build commercial uses, light manufacturing uses, job generation is something which is extremely important, as has been expressed both by the commission and by the city council. This allows for walk-to-work opportunities. It's the next slide, if you can just advance that to the area map. Thank you. So this is, you can see the dense residential, specifically the Red Hook houses to the west. We are creating walk-to-work opportunities in an area where it is appropriate. The existing M11 district at the site, which has existed for over 60 years, has produced what M11 districts produce, which is low job generating manufacturing uses / open uses. An M11 use has a 1 FAR, a relatively small floor area, high parking requirement. It results in what the applicant's site is now used for and has been used for 20 years, which is a scaffolding business on an open site. This is doing no good for anybody. The fact that Community Board 6 so strongly came out in favor of this, and really the request of the applicant was that we continue along on our memorandum of understanding and sign a community benefits agreement, really indicates how this site is just poorly utilized and is underutilized for the opportunity that presents here. You're basically adjacent to the Gowanus Expressway. The area, given transportation, the South 9th Street station can easily handle the additional bulk that is proposed at the site, and is really, for those attending the community board meeting, was welcome at the site to put a building of this nature in this location. The slides which are after this demonstrate pictures of the surrounding area. Again, the looming expressway immediately adjacent to the property, as well as the open nature of the existing site. After the photos, there's a copy of the zoning change map, which again shows the minor change highlighted in black on the right, which would create the M15 here. While this zoning change is minor in terms of the map, it is major in terms of the hopes and desires of this community. This is an applicant who's really gone out of its way with numerous meetings in the local area, outreach, and other communications to try to build a coalition here, which is what we've got. And, it's very disheartening to face the prospect of a loss of this potential building, which really engages so much of the community and really has invested much of the hope of the surrounding area. Because basically I think the applicant here in good faith has talked to everybody and has really tried to get everyone on board. So I think with that, I would hand the mic over to Nick Liberis, our project architect, who can talk a little bit about what might be possible at the site given proposed mixed rezoning.
All right, thank you, Rich. Nick with Archimera. So in 2018, Willie came to me, and the question that he had was, where can we put a good office space? And he and I were both looking for office space, and we had some friends that are subs that we all use that were also looking for office space. So we looked around, and he showed me this piece of land that's been in his family for many years, and I thought maybe this is a good spot. So we went to DCP. And the first question DCP asked us was, how high do you think that we should go? Because apparently they had been thinking about this entire strip for some time. So they were thinking that M15 was completely appropriate for this entire strip, and this was maybe late 2018. So we said, okay, fine, this is what we'll do. So we went to Menchaca, and everything that we had done with him is everything that you see here. So there was a big emphasis on making sure that we had reached out to the community. Out of maybe 20 applications that I've worked on over the past however many years, this one stands out as it has the most outreach. It had the most the most earnest outreach, and we've gone to great lengths to really do something which is really finally catering to what everybody asked for. So to that end, we have a supermarket that's on the ground floor. We have this this incredible jobs training program. We have all of this community space which is on the second floor also. So I'm just going to walk you guys through quickly what this thing looks like as of right now, and then I'll kick it back. So this slide, this shows what we propose. The ground floor has to deal with the fact that we're right next to the highway. So the highway goes about almost 50 feet over here. So what we did was that we end up shielding the front of the building from the highway, and then we end up with some more normative office space up above. So you can see that the building tops out at about 145 feet. We have 10 floors, and it's currently contemplated as being office space from the 3rd floor to the 10th floor. Most of it is actually spoken for. So this is not like a speculative building. This is something where, people will be ready to move in very, very quickly. Next slide, please. So one other very significant site consideration is the fact that you are right down the street from this Smith 9th Street stop. And you could see that there's this terminus to this axis going down Mill that kind of passes underneath the highway. So, thank you. So we have this condition where we have the office space which has to be shielded from the highway, and then we have something where we could make some sort of urbanistic mark. We reached out to DOT, and it turned out that this pathway over here is actually something which is contemplated as being part of the future improvement for the area. So we thought, this is great. We can have this this brand new sidewalk, this nice thing that kind of leads into the building. So the focus was both on making this thing pop from underneath the highway, and also dealing with the highway for the program up above. Next slide, please. So we have something which we think very, very strongly anchors the corner. Starts something that we hope proliferates up and down the street, which is to say that there will be retail fronting the street. You'll have some care and some consideration as to how this thing works with the street and adds to the neighborhood also. So you could see here that we have the building poking up above the highway. At one point, we had something which was much more polychrome, but we were getting advice to tone it down just because it may be too distracting, because this is right up against the highway. Next slide, please. So this is Mill Street. This is looking southeast. So you could see that we have the supermarket program here. The way it's been set up, we have entry and exit off of the corner and off of Mill, because we have an extra wide sidewalk over here. So there's a bus station which is directly to the south of us, and then we have this very nice, almost like 20-foot wide sidewalk that then goes out even further. So it's very, very safe, very, very well set up to receive a lot of people coming in and out. And then off of Hamilton, you could see kind of in the distance, you have the entry to the office spaces. Next slide, please. So this is just the office spaces up above. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a cellar floor plan. Right now, the supermarket gets much of the cellar, and then everything else will be storage space for the offices, bike parking, stuff like this. Next slide. Okay, so this is the ground floor. This is where you can see the entry and the exit to the supermarket. So right now, this is an illustrative plan, and there's a tenant who has signed an LOI. Typically, what happens with these projects is that we do core and shell for these projects, and then we will work with whoever they hire as an interior designer to kind of make this what they want. So this was something that we had done based on some other supermarket plans that we've done in the past. So, I think this would work, but I can't really attest to the final positions of these entries and exits. But it will be somewhere on this thicker sidewalk piece that you see over here on the right side of the screen. One other thing that we've done is that we've put in a pretty significant freight And this is both to service a supermarket and also to service the second floor uses, which are contemplated as being a mix of light manufacturing and also community facility. So next slide, please. So the second floor, on this floor, this is where we have all of the space which has been deeded to the community. So at the top right, in this shaded area here, we have a space which has been contemplated as being a shared conference space slash gathering spot that can be booked by the community. And then next to it, we have this classroom, which has been configured so that it could flexibly work also as a wood shop workshop type of use. What's happened in the past few months is that the same entity has now spoken for both of these spaces. So we would probably make it more flexibly laid out, so it could be configured in a way that could take advantage of the whole space, because it's a pretty long space. So we have that use, and then the second use is this cross-hatched use that's right next to the dark shaded use and also below it. And this is what has been contemplated as being the light manufacturing. So, like Rich said, we would be into signing something that would restrict the use for this space. And the square footage which has been dedicated to this is proportionally very, very similar to other stuff which has been approved in the neighborhood recently. So I think from what you're saying, council member, I think that we kind of fall into this like kind of trap where we have a small site. The site is about 10,000 square feet, so it could be difficult to give like the amount of space that might be wanted across an entire neighborhood with like such a small site. But I think that through these other rezonings, you should be able to get what you guys need just in terms of the square footage. It's very, very difficult on such a small site to fit everything in there. So this is the third floor, and this is the typical third through fifth floor. You can see that we have balconies here facing south. So this is also something where we're not just presenting this like blank face to the neighborhood. We have some nice balconies. We think it'll make it a much more attractive office space, and it also functions to shade everything from the south. So then, if you keep going up, you can see that there's a setback. We have the setback at the I think sixth floor, and then the building proceeds up, and we have a nice rooftop, and we've been talking to local groups also about the use of the rooftop. So maybe that's something that could also be part of what we're offering to the community. So thank you for your time, and I'm going to kick it back. Thanks.
Thank you, Nick. Just, I think to conclude, and then we're happy to answer questions, I think it is something that we can't take for granted that development happens. And Willie and his family, who've had this site for 20 years, they went out and they asked people questions, and they asked neighbors questions, and they asked what they wanted to see here. And the nature of the conversations at the Red Hook Tenants Association meetings, as well as at the community board, they listened, and the agreements which have been drawn up, they hold Willie's feet to the fire when it may not even be necessary. I mean, here's someone who's basically not just come to the community in the last 1 to 2 years. They've been here for decades. And so this building right now represents a lot because it provides a lot to a lot of people. And to listen to actual conversations from local tenants who couldn't buy fresh food for their families, I think was very meaningful. To even have people who talked about the fact that having a tall building next to the expressway might be a nice thing as shielding some of the local area from some of the effluent and other materials from the expressway was a really nice thing. To hear about how there's local youth, young men who are in the area who don't have jobs and have no opportunity for training, and that this site actually goes out on day one after it's built and provides that space for nonprofits to do that, I think that was meaningful. So yes, this isn't an M11 district, and an M15 district is requested. And the truth of the matter is, there's room for everything here. And we've made very strong efforts and are willing to commit to over 6,000 square feet of manufacturing space here in order that the manufacturing community can gain from this as well. So in conclusion, we hope that the council and the council members here can support something which has had the overwhelming support of Community Board 6 and the City Planning Commission. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Richard. Just a few questions for you until I turn over to Councilmember Velez. What percentage of the building will be used for office space?
Nick, do you have the numbers?
It's about, if it's 65,000 square feet, less, let's say 17,000 square feet, so 48 divided by 60, maybe like 75%, 80% almost.
Given that this site is located in an area specifically for industrial businesses, could you explain why you think developing an office building here is appropriate and consistent with the IBZ designation?
Yeah, I'm going to start because, one of the things that's important, I think, in ULURP generally is that people operate in good faith. And when we were in this for maybe 6-7 months, we took a meeting with the Industrial Development Corporation. And so at some point, if you come to the table, someone has to come back to the table and talk to you. There's other applications that have been approved by this zoning subcommittee and by the council. For example, 41 Richard Street, 200 Huntington Street, which sought larger buildings and which the IDC was involved in. With regards to 41 Richard Street, you had a rezoning there which was an M11 to an M15, much like our rezoning. And the IBZ came out and the IDC came out strongly in favor of that application. There were no restrictions on that property. It's not located in the IBZ, but the IDC actually came out and made strong statements in favor on the record saying how important it was for them to have this property. The IDC themselves has an interest in that property. They have a grant from the EDC to allow them space in that building. So the truth is that we came out to the IDC. We have agreements in place. We gave them the same documentation that they've signed in 200 Huntington Street, almost to the letter, the exact same document that they signed, and they basically said no thank you. So the truth of the matter is we do contribute to the central goals of the IDC in terms of job creation, in terms of training, and also in terms of light manufacturing space. But yes, the building itself, needs to have a host of uses. And frankly, the office use here will be harmonious with the light industrial use. We'll able to, in some sense, subsidize some of the buildings so that the nonprofits and other light industrial potential users can use the space.
And my last question, have you explored other uses at this site with the Southwest Brooklyn Industrial Development Corporation, which assists in overseeing the IBZ?
Yeah, we've been exploring uses with them, and we also, interestingly, as they requested, and again, we're happy to provide all of this correspondence to the zoning subcommittee. We basically wanted to limit the industrial space in accordance with their request to certain industrial uses. And essentially, the email came back yesterday that they weren't interested because they weren't interested in being a party to the restrictive declaration when they had already served as a party to other restrictive declarations that have been approved for rezonings.
Thank you, Richard.
Sure.
Councilmember Velez.
Thank you. So, I guess I'll just start by saying, the comparison to 40 Richards is actually not a correct comparison, because while that property is not in an IBZ, the majority of that building is actually geared towards industrial manufacturing. So they are actually meeting a mandate that they currently don't have, whereas we have the opposite. We have a building in the industrial business zone who is proposing a 75 to 80% usage of office rate with a slight giveaway for light industrial manufacturing, which I still don't know. So I think the two examples that you provide are not quite right and slightly disingenuous. So let's talk about has this application changed at all since our first meeting and way long ago in 21?
Nick, do you want to start?
Yes.
How so? Can you walk me through the changes?
Turn your mic on.
I hate these mics. So So we had the supermarket, and there was a period where you had asked us to look for other uses. So we considered other uses. We went back to the community, and they were very, very adamant about that being the only the only use. So that was something where, even though it may not have registered, that was something that was deeply considered. Then second floor was without anything, and then as we spoke more and more, we got closer and closer. What always happens is that when we get past DCP, at that point, then you have to kind of firm up these commitments. So at that point, they had to be firmed up. They had to be put on these on the plans. So at that point, we put everything on the second floor, and then we went back and forth with the South Brooklyn IBZ several times. We met with them, I think, 3 times. And we discussed uses, we discussed placement of where this stuff would go on the floors, and they were asking us to to consider all sorts of smaller watchmaking uses, clothes making stuff like this, and we think that we did a pretty good job accommodating them with what we have. So obviously there's.
So
there's another.
In terms of, I'm sorry, I'm
Sure.
hearing a lot of conversation about
Sure.
possibilities, but no concrete terms in terms of actual changes to the proposal.
Well, no. So this
Proposals
is.
always included what I would call a mini mart, because it's too small to actually be a supermarket, which was what you went out and promised community members at the beginning of the process. But what are the changes of allocation? We are currently 80% commercial use in this space.
Mm-hmm.
What actually changed in the proposal from
So,
2021?
Two things. Number one, this is actually like a pretty.
In concrete terms, can you
Sure,
tell me
sure.
space allocations?
Yeah, it's all
changes
all
in
on that second floor basically. So the second floor has been set up. We have this very large freight elevator which was put in. We have the inclusion of this second part of this second floor, whereas before we had less space that we were given after speaking to them and after
What's the
speaking to you.
total square footage of the second floor?
The total square footage of the second floor is about 7,500, and we have 4,800 light manufacturing total on that floor, and that does not include.
That is the fundamental change of this application.
That's
of
the change.
2021.
That's the change. And also, just to quickly rebut for the supermarket, this is like a pretty well-sized supermarket. It's like a common size that you see, all over Brooklyn. It's about I think 4,000 square feet that's in the cellar, and then another 6,000 or 7,000 square feet on the ground floor. So that's a pretty large supermarket. It's about 11,000
How many
square feet.
supermarket purveyors did you actually talk with, and how many proposals have you received concretely from supermarket purveyors about that?
We talked to several. I think we have 3. We had 3. We have how many LOIs? We have one that was signed that I think. So Met Fresh is the one that we're going
it's
with.
the LOI saying, I met with you, we had a
No.
nice
We've done significant outreach, because part of what makes us a lot different than other applications that I've seen is that we have somebody who really isn't like a developer. Like this guy owns this scaffolding business, so he's not really thinking in that way. He's very into giving back to the community. So these all have been very real conversations.
So have you submitted concrete proposals from, the LOI that I saw was just a recording of a conversation with one person from MetFresh. It was not a substantive proposal around what a supermarket would entail and price points, the things that our community deserves, right?
Mm-hmm.
A real meaningful proposal, not a, we met and this was a great conversation.
Well, I mean, I'm just seeing this right now. This looks like a pretty standard LOI. So I don't see any pricing info. So there should be pricing info in there.
Let's take a step
Sure,
back to
sure.
Tell me, why did you decide to propose an M15 for this location?
Yeah, I can start. So the choice of zoning districts during the course of the application was from an existing M11. You've got M12 and M14, which would allow for 2 FAR for commercial, and an M13 and M15, which would allow for a 5 FAR for commercial. The M15 had the added benefit of not requiring parking. which in this area, given that it's so transit-rich, nearby subways, two bus lines, was not deemed necessary. So that was the decision point. The 2 FAR for commercial would not make a meaningful building here, and the 5 FAR would allow for the mix of uses as was expressed and desired by the local community. I mean, some of these other projects we've been discussing have serious grants from the EDC and from the City of New York in order to allow for their feasibility. This is not, essentially the office space which is being used here is in essence cross-subsidizing nonprofit space, the fresh food market, as well as other uses within the building. So that's the square footage that was chosen in order to allow for this building to work.
So how can we be sure that an M15 district is appropriate for this part of the IBZ without a more comprehensive plan? As you know, I stated in my testimony, the city will be engaging in a comprehensive plan and particularly looking at the IBZs.
Understood. So you've got really two aspects of the application where you have to satisfy the city and the city council. There's the land use perspective, and then there's the public hearings and the community perspective. From a land use perspective, as is demonstrated by the vote of city planning and the density in the area, there's no doubt that an M15 works at this site. It produces a 10-story building, which basically clears the expressway. There's other, the other buildings in the area. This is not an area of low density. There's commonly 6 to 8-story buildings within the area of the buildings, including in the Red Hook area. So really what you're looking at is whether or not the M15 is appropriate for this area in terms of public perception and in terms of the public discussion. The square footage that is chosen for this building, as Nick said, it's not a huge building and it's not a huge site. The site itself is 9,900 square feet. So the opportunity here, the 64,000 square feet, would allow for the exact mix of food store, which, council member, I know you're going to hear other testimony here as far as local neighborhood residents are concerned. There was never a question about the quality of the food store that would be coming in here. MetFresh is an applicant who we've brought through other applications before the city, who has received tax incentives from the EDC for purposes of fresh applications, who has multiple locations throughout Brooklyn. So this is not it is a real applicant here. And I think probably what we would convey to you is that we're not getting out of this deal, nor do we want to be out of this deal. Like the CBA right now, there's experienced counsel on the other side that is finalizing the CBA. The restricted declaration, which was offered to the IDC, was a binding agreement of the same form that they have already signed in other
Richard,
deals.
what is it? Is there any such thing in this circumstance that is actually a binding agreement? If Mr. Pilko decides to sell this property
Yeah.
2 days from now,
I
is
think-
there any such thing as a binding agreement?
I think
You
there's
can yes
two-
or no?
It's yes in two parts.
That
The first
does
is
not-
that I can
there is
include
no
legal
binding
terms.
agreement here.
I can include legal terms in a restricted declaration and in a CBA that is recorded against a property that is binding on the applicant.
Who is going to hold that restrictive declaration?
There's
There's no entity on the other side.
the
that
Public
will hold
Housing
restrict-
Civic Association is on the other side of the CBA, and that they are funded. They basically are ensured that they will have legal counsel.
Richard.
Yes, but there's another point to this, Councilmember Aviles, which is you have to. This is a body which is conducting a factual hearing and accepting testimony, and you can look at my applicant and see whether or not this is some sort of ploy. I mean, I don't know how Willie would be involved and give this level of care and concern and have people come out and support him if he didn't mean what he said. So yes, there's documents and there's CBAs. And frankly, when I talk to community boards, they tell me that the best CBAs are the ones you stick in a drawer and never see again because you trust your guy, and we trust our guy.
And CBAs are not legally binding, right?
No, that is an incorrect statement. You're wrong.
Okay. We'll see whatever this agreement
Okay.
is. Much like the MetFresh LOI, which said much of nothing. I know you've seen a good number of CBA documents that were thorough and meaningful and engaged. I have yet to see
If
what
this
that
comes
looks
down
like.
to
But I think
MetFresh,
let's go
we'll
back
give you better
to-
documentation.
Let's go back to the SBIDC reluctance around the M15 zoning. You noted that my understanding is they never committed to signing any CBA. That would have to go to their board. However, they did have a good number of conversations, some of which I was privy to and some which you had independently. I think it's important to note that there were never commitments there. And the two examples that you noted earlier are quite distinct and very different. And one thing that this proposal has often been described as is skeptical. Not skeptical, excuse me. I'm losing my words. I'm gonna leave that point.
Okay.
And I will get back to it. But if you would describe to me why, how this proposal enriches the goal for industrial manufacturing.
The current select uses industrial space agreement, as was forwarded to the council, has a binding commitment for 6,800 square feet that would be used in this building. And so to the extent that, call it, rounding to 7,000 square feet, to the extent that not only that, which is committed to light manufacturing uses. By the way, we have an applicant here who has a business which is considered under current zoning or under prior zoning use group 16, which itself is a light manufacturing use in a scaffolding establishment. But taking that aside, there's 6,800 square feet that are committed. And by the way, that commitment is recorded against the property and basically is, as we've discussed, binding on the applicant. So it's not just that, it's also job training space. And there was a lot of conversation at the community board where there's questions as to what the commitment has been in the area to providing that space. So if that is an important part and parcel of the application to allow for local youth to be trained in these light manufacturing jobs, then this is, an important aspect of the proposal. And it exceeds the opportunity just to provide light manufacturing space. It provides the opportunity to train people in that use so that you're sending them out into the workforce and they're better able to stay within Red Hook, to work in manufacturing jobs and to be able to prosper.
So in terms of, I realize we're burning through time and my brain is so slow today. Thank you. In terms of I think the word that I was trying to use earlier, which I said skeptical, which it was not, was speculative. That this proposal, as described by DCP, was speculative. And the reason why that word came up over and over again, and certainly this is not at all to suggest, Mr. Pilko, I know you're in this and you're fighting for this property to do an office space building that you imagined long ago. My role here is to protect and ensure accountability and guard an industrial business zone that is being eaten at by uses that do not conform, right? We are seeing this on a daily basis. In terms of it's clear that you have engaged and had conversations with many residents who are here today and others whom you have not. Have you talked to all the adjacent properties about your plans and impacts?
Go ahead.
Yes, I've had conversations with the neighboring properties.
Can you tell me who you spoke to and when?
Sure, I've spoken to the immediate neighbor on Hamilton Avenue.
Who is that?
It's the building that has the Pizza Moto.
And
He has an air conditioning company, and he didn't have much to say about it. His own property has been in their family for over 4 decades, so he showed no interest in, let's say, for an example, tearing down his building and building up anything there.
anyone else?
Yeah, I've spoken with the neighbor in the rear. It's sanitation. They do garbage removals. He's actually interested in staying as his he's been in the sanitation business for at least 30 years, so he needs that location for his own sanitation business where he is.
Anyone else?
There's only 2 additional neighbors. One is a gas station that's been a gas station for many long times. They own the car wash that's connected to the gas station. They've been there forever. I guess they're doing good. Fuel prices are high, so. And then you have left just another construction guy, which, they're just waiting to see what happens.
So I guess I'm a little concerned that you did not mention any of the other properties on the other side. You are butted by a school, a pre-K center, who has reported to me they've had no conversations with you or anyone from your team in the time that you have been pursuing this application. They're literally abutting your property. Was
Right.
that just an oversight and engagement?
That property was owned by a private entity, let's say.
It's a school for children,
It was
3
sold-
years and 4-year-olds.
Yeah, it was sold in the last couple of years.
It's been there for a while.
Yeah, it's been there for a while, but it was owned privately as the owner of the property, and then it was sold, I believe, to a city
It's a
organization.
New York City.
Right, and they bought it
school,
within the
no.
last few years, so I wouldn't know who from New York City to speak to specifically.
Okay. You've been working on this for 4 years. They've been there for 4 years.
We're
Okay,
working on this longer, yeah,
Yeah.
longer than they've owned it.
Okay. I guess what I'm pointing out is there are a good number of other properties that abut your property that you have not engaged with. And as a good neighbor, given construction impacts of any potentiality, that is a huge oversight.
I mean, it sounds like it's a single neighbor, and this is like
No,
within the
there
as of
are
right.
more, sir.
Are there more?
There are more.
I thought it was just the school.
There's a church.
Yeah.
There's a food bodega. There's
the same owner
a
as the
transitional,
The bodega guy, I
and
guess,
there's
is the same owner.
also
It's the same
a
owner.
school.
Those are all the same owner as the sanitation. He owns 4 lots. It's one guy that owns 4 lots.
I understand that, but there are other people there as well, in addition to the church, in addition to the school.
I think it's just
No,
the
that's all.
church and the school, yeah.
Oh,
But-
okay, so,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 1 out of the 3
Yeah.
you spoke to. Okay.
No,
my point exactly.
Well, how
Let's
many? I think
let's
there's like
move
5 or
on.
6. I think we
That's-
spoke to 4 out of the
I think
6.
my point is there is a school that would be deeply impacted, and
Mm-hmm.
you haven't had a conversation with them in the 4 years. I would.
It's true.
Yeah, and that's all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's my point. And I think you're saying you didn't, and that's okay. And now we know. And
I think the
That's
point that,
an
that
important-
he was making, though, too, was that we've actually been, this is our, I think, 7th year doing this because of the switch from Carlos. You know, when you came in, we had to start over, basically. So I think that's
Oh.
where that comes from, because I think back then it was not a school.
okay, the time frame continues to change. The point remains the same. There
We
is a
haven't
school
spoken
there
to that
who's
school,
been there
correct.
more than 4 years that you have not had a conversation with, that houses 3 and 4-year-olds
Mm-hmm.
and staff. And that would be deeply impacted by anything. It
1,000%,
doesn't- I'm not
yeah.
saying yes or no. I'm saying it is a big misstep to have not also engaged a property of children that is right abutting your property. That's all I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we need to belabor that. I'm just making the quick point.
I would just
So,
I would go
I think
I'm
I
onto
only
the
have
record just to
3
kind of
minutes.
dispute that, just because it is kind of a
But
strange
I only
characterization.
have
just
3
because,
minutes, and this
yeah.
is my time to ask you
Okay,
questions.
sure.
So I think we're
Fair.
gonna move forward, just because we need to get a couple more questions.
Let's go.
On. So we can talk some more afterwards.
Sure.
So in terms of the, so why should the community have confidence in a non-binding commitment for industrial space when you've had no history or involvement in the industrial sector?
So we regularly engage in rezonings, as the council member is aware. We regularly have entered into.
You as a law firm
Correct.
engage, the
And with
applicant,
applicants.
however.
Correct. And so Applicants, to the extent that they have entered into these CBAs, there is often a mix of residential uses, commercial uses, light manufacturing uses, and despite the fact that in the history of rezonings in the city and community benefits agreement, we have applicants who have no opportunity to engage in manufacturing activity. We do know that the zoning resolution limits manufacturing to certain use groups. And so to the extent that there is a document where you can point to use groups and light manufacturing use groups, and as the applicant has said here and has expressed is willing to limit themselves to those use groups, then regardless of experience in manufacturing, and by the way, again, Willie's family has a scaffolding business and is engaged in the construction community now for decades. So there is experience there, and even if there weren't experience there, you're able to engage and to work with local stakeholders to provide those uses. So we have all confidence in the world that to the extent we were successful, that we would be able to fill the space with productive use.
Has,
1 second, real quick. Kevin Williams is from your team.
He is, yes.
Is he supposed to be testifying too?
He's available for questions.
All right. Do you want him to answer any questions? Because he's raising his hand.
I would be happy to have him answer.
All right.
is he on Zoom?
All right. And we only have about good 3 more minutes,
Yeah,
y'all.
sorry.
We understand.
3
I'm
more
sorry.
minutes, please. I need you guys to answer the questions really, really quick.
Really quick.
Okay?
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Chair. Have you, and you mentioned.
I'm sorry, Councilman. We just gotta swear
oh,
Kevin
I'm
in real
sorry.
quick.
Okay.
Exactly.
Hi, Councilmember.
Is Mr. Williams here? Okay, Mr. Williams, please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth today, nothing but the truth in your testimony and in response to council member questions?
I do.
Please proceed.
I don't know if Councilmember Aviles wants to finish her questioning, or would you like me to I just wanted to respond to the construction concern and some general discussion as an urban planner about the land use context. So I don't know if you want me to, proceed or just wait until Councilmember finishes her comment.
I would suggest, Councilmember Aviles, what would you like to hear from this?
I guess he should
Applicant.
respond and then
Yeah.
wrap up with the question so it doesn't shift.
Yeah, so just very quickly, on the construction impact, we evaluate that in the environmental assessment process. I realize that's not obviate the need to communicate with your neighbors. I think it's often an overlooked aspect of the rezoning process. But having said that, given the size of the building, the construction impact is relatively limited in terms of duration and falls under what's called a significant, impact sort of threshold for evaluation by Environmental Assessment Review Division. But we do consider that. And of course, there are in place Department of Building requirements related to vibration and noise exposure for construction term impacts. In addition, I would note, given the texture of this building and the adjacency to this type of community facility, whether it's a nearby church or whether it's a daycare, the type of uses proposed are probably more commensurate, and the quality of the building is of higher quality. You're not going to have fugitive dust from an open lot. You're going to have a building where there's availability to get food for teachers and staff, and you're going to have professional office building that also has a combination of community facilities, training center, grocery store, manufacturing, and offices, all which are probably more compatible than an M type of industrial use that's currently present, on the adjacent streets. And the other thing I would say is, just in terms of impact and land use, what I'd like you to consider is what's happening in the Southwest IBZ, in the section of the Brooklyn Waterfront Park area, where New York City Economic Development Corporation has been engaged in a long-term plan to redevelop the waterfront, similarly zoned M11, M12, from a long dilapidated waterfront into a mixed-use type of environment that engenders not sort of Euclidean zoned types of land uses, but mixed uses that combine community uses, job training, maker hub space, commercial offices, all of which work together, reduce vehicle miles traveled, reduce unnecessary trips. And also the buildings are of higher quality. They're flood resilient. There's an environmental cleanup that's required here. They're required to be vibration and noise resistant. All of that is afforded by the movement from M11 to M15. The last thing I would like to note is there's nothing in the M11 except a lot of old regulations that I do not believe are helping to transition this corridor to a modern, integrated, commercial, industrial mixed-use corridor. And I don't think that this corridor, given the overpass, the access to the site, is particularly well suited to heavy industrial of a significant amount. The amount that's proposed, and given the access limitations of this site, better served as a type of mixed use that is proposed. And if you look at the development along this stretch of the corridor, gas station, partially used warehouse, a multi-story residential that is that's non-compliant. There's not been any redevelopment, any investment, any sidewalk improvements, any crosswalk improvements, any neighborhood benefit provided by this zone in this place. And so I think if you follow what EDC is doing along this corridor, along what they're doing on the Brooklyn waterfront, that this zone, and I get your concerns about, the free range of uses, but I would note this does not displace any of the uses you could currently put on that site right now. Office, gas station,
Sorry to cut you off, Will. Sorry to cut you off.
You got it. Yep.
Councilmember, if we could just do
Yes.
2 more questions
Two
real
more
quick
questions.
before we end.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you pointing out, oh, you disappeared. I appreciate you pointing out the question around the neighbors and the construction impacts were certainly not in terms of the illustrative potential future uses, but just construction impacts and how it would affect children on the site. And I would agree with you. I would not put a school there, but it is there and they are neighbors. And they must be considered in that. Certainly if it was my 2-year-old, I'd be very concerned, right? So it really is a matter of just the present conversations of your current neighbors, with your current neighbors. I guess the last thing, I'd like to know in terms of, is it true for the record that if this property were sold, none of these commitments would mean anything?
No, that is not true.
That is not true. So if we
There are
sold the
provisions-
property tomorrow,
Correct. Well,
the
there's
new
provisions-
owner would
Right.
be binded to what?
Correct. So there's provisions in agreements which would be recorded prior to the time of the council's vote, which would dictate that upon a change in control, they would be bound by the terms of the current agreements. So upon a change in control, these regulations would remain in effect.
Okay, and then lastly, what are the community groups that you are working with and supporting this application? And have you made any financial contributions, Mr. Pilko, to any of those groups?
Well, I'm just going to start with the nonprofit with representatives here would be who would administer the CBAs, the Public Housing Civic Association. And the, in addition to which there are, may I have that? In addition to which there are, we've had discussions with the Red Hook West Resident Association and the Red Hook Art Project. So there's some of the nonprofits we've been discussing this with. Willie, have there been any?
My understanding is that the Red Hook Arts Project is no longer party in
They're no
these
longer a party to the
conversations.
CBA, but they are still supportive of the project.
Okay, so we're just talking about the Red Hook Housing Civic Association, which is a new entity, and the Red Hook West.
Public Housing
Association.
Civic Association.
Public Housing, right.
So,
So those are the only two entities
Correct.
that are currently part.
and I think that there's representatives here who can have a further discussion about that.
They will tell me all about
I
it.
know. And I'd also just mention that, that there's financial commitments in the CBA to allow them to administer the CBA, but there's been no present.
Mr.
financial
Pilko, have you made any financial contributions over the last 2 years to any of these entities?
I don't recall at the moment. Maybe if they had a fundraiser on a page, I've maybe donated a minimal, nothing specific to this project.
Has anyone involved in these conversations been paid as a consultant or?
Well, I would tell you, council member, that as a matter of course, in negotiations of a CBA, for a nonprofit who has not yet entered into agreement and may not enter into an agreement, there is a third-party agreement where we give them money for their lawyers. The attorney-client privilege runs to the nonprofit. We have no communication with that attorney other than to pay their fees as are incurred by the nonprofit. So that would be.
Right, but there's no been direct, I'm asking if there's direct contributions to anyone involved in any of these conversations to their nonprofit entities over the last 2 years.
No.
No, for the record.
For the record,
You've made no contributions to anyone involved in these conversations in the last 2 years to their nonprofit entities?
none of the nonprofits that have issued letter, other than an annual fundraiser that may had for a toy drive or anything
If
as such.
so, how much should you contribute to these entities?
Not more than $1,800.
To each, you said maybe.
It varies. It depends. Could be a few $100s for toy drive for Christmas, or very small amounts.
Over a 2-year period?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, council member. I just want you to clarify this with one sentence, please. Don't give me no, please. Richard, you just said a future buyer would be bound to the proposed agreement. How could they be bound to a proposed agreement if they're not a part of this agreement right now?
So there's provisions in our CBAs where we basically say that there's no change in control without documentation and agreements satisfactory to the nonprofit partner, that the subsequent owner will be bound by the agreement.
All right, I just want to be clear, this agreement would not be conditioned by the council's approval.
It would, that's correct. So due to limitations in terms of contract zoning, the council can't take an active role, but so it would not be conditional on the council approval, but it would be entered into prior to the time of any vote.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
You are excused.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, for the members of the public here that testify, please note that the witnesses will generally be called in panels of 3. If you are a member of the public signed up to testify on the proposal, please stand by when you hear your name being called and prepare to speak when the chair says that you may speak, which is myself. Please also note that once all panelists in your group have completed their testimony, if remotely, you will be removed from the meeting as a group. The next group of speakers will be introduced. Once removed, participants may continue to view the live stream broadcast of this hearing of the council's website. Members of the public will be given 2 minutes to speak. Okay? I'm looking at everyone. 2 minutes to speak. All right? Please do not begin until the Sergeant at Arms has started the clock. The following individuals who signed up to testify should not come to this table, witness table, with any devices to record or anything like that. If you want to submit something, you could submit a transcript to us after, okay? The first panel I'm going to call up is Ms. Karen Blondell, Ms. Shirley Gilliard, sorry if I mispronounced your name, Ms. Shirley, and Tyrell Gibbs. And we are going to call up first in-person witnesses, and then we'll go to online witnesses. Okay. We will start with Ms. Karen Blondell.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, good afternoon. Hello, Alexa Avilés, our city council member, and to the chair, and I don't remember who you are. But anyway, I am the founder of Public Housing Civic Association. I founded it in 2020 after securing $240 million for Gowanus and White Court houses. That was from the city of New York. because I was able to build a coalition of public housing residents. That money goes towards their bathrooms and kitchens. Red Hook was built way before that. As a part of 150, and what I see at 150 Mill Street, right across the street is a central heating plant that was built by FEMA. It is about 10 to 12 stories tall, and it's supposed to take all of the heat or suffice all of the heat across Red Hook. So one of the things, as a person who's an engineer assistant, a 10-story building that abuts the Hamilton Expressway is not that concerning to me in regards to heights when you have a building adjacent that NYCHA built without a ULUP. That's going to have other effects. Secondly, Public Housing Civic has been running on air, Holy Spirit air. Okay, I won a David Prize, and I have not received any money from anybody. As a matter of fact, I haven't even worked in the last 8 months because I'm giving back to my community, the Red Hook houses. A part of that is building a workforce corridor. I've asked the IBZ as an organizer since 2016, show me the numbers of the people in public housing that you have helped get a job in your IBZ. What kind of jobs are in the IBZ? Oh, that would be Amazon. They didn't want Amazon in Red Hook. So we cannot suffice this city council in regards to this area. You know, so what I'm saying is going to be a workforce corridor that's going to help us get from Gowanus through Red Hook to that beautiful site that the Port Authority just gave up to the EDC so that we can make some money in the projects too and get some trades. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Karen. Next, we'll hear from Ms. Shirley. Ms. Shirley, how you pronounce your last name?
Fine yourself. I used to work in Red Hook.
Oh,
And
how
when
you pronounce your last name?
Hey, Gilliard.
Gilliard.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And when we used to go looking for lunch and stuff like that, the supermarkets that you have out there are the worst. They sent me out. You had a lot of rats, a lot of skunks, squirrels, raccoons, and I did the killing of them, most of them. As soon as you turn around, it was more and more. Nobody did nothing. When you go in the supermarket to get their food, horrible, horrible. You know, so I feel like they really do need supermarkets because you got to walk a mile here and a mile there. And I live in Gowanus. And when I come to Red Hook, I can't find hardly any stores. The little bodegas, they're not that good. They do need definitely a supermarket. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Shirley Jack can have her turn. I just want to
It doesn't work like that in here, but I'll give you grace because you came today. Go ahead.
thank you. I also want to say that we're not food insecure. We're a food desert. Red Hook is over 40 acres, just the development. For me to go food shopping, I literally have to take a bus to get the food bazaar. I'm in my 60s. I know I look good, but I'm in my 60s. You know, we got construction everywhere. A little more construction is not going to make a big difference in Red Hook for the next 10 to 20 years because that's how long we'll be under construction in Red Hook. We do need office space. We need to level up Red Hook, and this is one of the things that I think we can do to do that. And I do trust Willie. I'm a good judge of characters. I trust Willie.
Thank you. Ms. Tyrell,
Just want to say thank you, guys.
you're welcome.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I just feel like others feel like Red Hook is secluded from everywhere else. And I feel like what's going on now is nothing but pollution. We have nothing but drug addict buildings. We have gas stations. We have desanitation, and all this is doing nothing but polluting the air. So building this building and including this supermarket, which will help the residents that people do not care about, obviously, and giving job trainings and get these kids off the street. If these kids is off the street and these kids are working in job trainings, that's doing nothing but helping the future and helping the residents of the area. I feel like people don't even care about the residents of the area because obviously our word means nothing. And I feel like in other neighborhoods, i.e. Sunset Park and Park Slope, they're up and coming. So what about us?
Thank you. That was it, Tyra?
That's all I got to say.
Thank you so much. Councilman Village, you have any questions for this panel?
Well, I guess first, thank you for being here. Red Hook Strong, and with the leadership of Ms. Blondell, among other residents, this is all about definitely making sure we hold folks accountable. We have seen in Red Hook, as in Sunset Park and the rest of the district, developers make a lot of promises that don't materialize important things for our community. So this is certainly about making sure that accountability is to be had. Mr. Pilko, I'm sure, is a lovely human and with a lovely family. This is not a personal situation. This is business. And this is about protecting our community in all the ways we know how. So I just want to thank you for being here. And there's a lot of work, including EDC, which we could talk about all day long, and we will, because we got a lot of conversations to be had around the city's, in many ways, archaic, right, laws and policies, and the ways people get around all those things, and things move forward, and the benefits for our community doesn't materialize in the way they should. So we are certainly on the same team here about wanting to do better and get better for our residents, because they deserve not to have to take a bus to get fresh food. We deserve a meaningful, real proposal, not the same letter that doesn't say much. So I'm with you, and I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you, Councilmember Villas, and thank you to the panel for taking the time to come down here. We really do appreciate when constituents take the time for projects like this to come testify. It means a lot, so we really appreciate y'all coming down here.
Thank you
Your
so
excuse. The next panel we're going to call up is Miss Marjorie Booth, Francis Brown, and Marcella Williams. First, we're going to begin with Miss Marcella Williams.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Well, I've been living in Red Hook for 34 years, a long
If you
time.
could just speak right into the mic. There we go.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I've been living in Red Hook for 34 years. And I remember when I first came out to Red Hook, there was a bunch of shootings and killings, and you had to hide on your bed. You had to get on your table. Your kids didn't want to go outside to play. And I remember that it was like that for a long time, and we still have a little problems out there because they have no jobs for nobody. The kids is running around, the teenagers are getting high, they're killing one another. In the supermarket, the food over there, you buy some meat, it stinks. You buy some lettuce, in 2 days the lettuce are rotten, the cucumbers are soft. You know, it's just a lot going on out there. And you know, we need to improve Red Hook. See, I'm getting personal with this right now because it's been a long, long time, and why everybody is looking over us. Why? We pay rent. My rent just went up to $700 more, $1,200 something dollars, and I can't get a decent supermarket. We can't get nothing for our children to have some kind of training and program and health centers, things that they need out there. So what is the problem? Why everybody can get what they need to get and we can't get anything? So I don't think it's fair. I think if they want to come in there and develop something that's going to help the community, get them back on their feet, why not? We got rats running all around our feet. You got yell and holler for them to run out your sight. You have housing don't come and do the work that they supposed to. I put in a ticket for 2018, still waiting for plastering. Now you count the years. And they don't even know me because I don't complain. Couple of times I complain, they like who you are, but I pay my rent faithfully. So why should we have to suffer? Why? Why do our children have to go through these things? Scared to take your kids outside. You scared to even go outside sometimes. They need to do this development, let these people get the jobs, and let these kids do the right thing. Help the neighborhood. Help these young men and children. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Frances Brown.
Good afternoon. My name is Frances Brown. I'm the resident leader of Red Hook East. I've been living there over 30 years. Been working right where in the middle of development over 25 years. And I want to first say this here. I'm not rented, leased, so as far as the questions about money, no, I'm not rented or leased, because I'm going to speak my mind and I don't care who it is. But since I met these gentlemen here, they kept their word. When they say they're going to do something, they do it. They follow. And I can't say that about a lot of people. Because a lot of things in Red Hook is terrible, because we don't get no help. Everybody else get what they want. We don't get nothing. Nothing at all. I haven't seen council, whatever. I haven't seen nobody do nothing for Red Hook. I see them do it for other developments, other places, but not for Red Hook. I go to Coney Island, have meetings in Coney Island, and the council and senators, they're awesome. They're awesome because they work for the community. I want to see somebody working for my community, doing right by my community. I've been here before when we wanted a nursing home. That got shot down because other people didn't want it. We have seniors that go all the way to Dumbo to go shopping. I'm not trying to get rid of no supermarket. I just want a better supermarket. I can go to any supermarket I want because I have an automobile. They can take me there. But I have a lot of seniors in my community. They don't have that. They have to get on the bus, and then after they buy groceries, they got to lug it back on a little pulley. I think about how would I feel if my mother had to go through this? I wouldn't want my mother or my grandmother to have to go through this, even though, I'm a grandmother, because I'm over 60, way over 60. And I know I look good, though.
Amen.
I just had to throw that part in. Yes, I had to throw that part in. Thank you, dears.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to have Ms. Marjorie Booth.
Oh, good afternoon to the panel. My name is Marjorie Booth, and I've been living out in Red Hook since I came to Red Hook when I was 9. I'm 69 now. Red Hook used to be a lovely place. We had things, but now we don't have anything. We have to go so far to go shopping. We need a grocery store. I don't want to go in a grocery store and I get food, meat. It stinks when you're in there. We need better service than what we get. And we vote these people in, all the Congress we vote in, but they forget about Red Hook. We looked over. And it's not fair to us. For the simple fact is we worked hard. The ones that could work, I worked until I could no longer work. I raised my kids there. But now it's a mess. If we vote y'all in, y'all supposed to help us, not help somewhere else and forget about us. We're the lost community, and it's not fair to us at all.
Thank you so much. Councilman Village, you want to address this panel?
Sure. Just, again, thank you for being here. We know it takes a lot to come all the way down here and wait, so I appreciate you. I guess I just want to directly point out that there was no insinuation that anyone was purchased. It was a direct question that has come from numerous community members. And so for the record, to lay facts on the ground, if you ask the question, the facts are on the ground. So I think it's important for you to know that. And 100% about the supermarket situation. I think, again, we don't want speculation. We want real proposals that reflect the community and price points that make sense, as opposed to a Gristedes, which is some high-end supermarkets. I know, they're good, but they're expensive as hell. That is besides the point. Because we are talking about a land use application here and upscaling of a property that that is not necessarily in keeping with its use and proposal, and some weaknesses in that application. So I just want to thank you again, and I hear you 100% about one of the many concerns that Red Hook has, and Red Hook has many concerns. And so I thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to give the same message. We really appreciate you ladies coming out, making the time, and we heard your concerns, so thank you so much.
Can I ask one more thing? What else do you want them to do? Because I believe they were.
Well, you could leave that there. We really don't have the witness panel access questions, but
What's the councilwoman want them to do?
well, if you want, you could speak with her right after this. Okay. All right. All right. The next panel I'm going to call up is online. It's going to be Tiffany Davis and Johannes Sigert. Excuse me if I mispronounce your name. We'll begin first with Miss Tiffany Davis.
You may begin.
Ms. Davis, if you can hear me, you may begin.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Ms. Davis.
I'm sorry, I'm currently in program with my students, so please forgive me.
No problem.
So I've been on a call. I heard everyone. Thank you guys for inviting me and allowing me to speak today. I do want to just say that when this project first was brought to my attention, I am very in tune to like making sure that our community have space. That's one thing that we are lacking. And as you guys know, we work with young people, but as our young people age out of programming, all the nonprofits here, trying to make sure they have another space that they can go to for they can do job readiness, job training, and being able to lock in the different careers that they would like, whether that's in their community or outside of their community, but also just need a safe space. And so we can expand off of the work that we already been doing in the neighborhood. I think that we have amazing youth programs. We have amazing leaders and stakeholders in the community, and I just want to see more done when it comes to our young adults. As you guys know, between the ages of 20 to about 30, those are the age that we are forgetting about, and they need other spaces other than just being outside in the parks and playing basketball, just really looking for a safe, vibrant space. And I think that 150 Mill Street can be supportive with this space, but just making sure we're holding everyone accountable and we're getting the things that we do need that's going to benefit Red Hook. As me being a Red Hook resident, my first apartment was in Red Hook. I've seen how much Red Hook has been left behind. I know that there's a lot of work to do in Red Hook, but there are leads on the ground doing that work. And we just need supporters like you to expand off that work by making sure we have vibrant spaces that can take on the work that we need to be done with our students as they age out of these programs. And of course, we also need healthy food. We can't make art. We can't go to work if we're hungry and not having a healthy meal. So I'm in tuned and inclined to make sure that we have more space and a healthy restaurant, especially for our elders. But as we grow Red Hook and continue to, do the work here, we want to make sure our community stay beautified, stay safe, vibrant, and that everybody have access to the different resources. And only how to do that is providing space. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Johannes Sigert. Johannes, if you can hear me, please begin. Johannes? Johannes, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin. Johannes, if you could please unmute. Okay, it looks like we lost Johannes. Johannes, if you hear me and you can't unmute, you have to accept the invitation. All right, Johannes, you may begin. Okay. All right, we're going to give Johannes about 30 seconds. If we don't get them, they can also submit their testimony to us online. Johannes, are you there?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, there you go. You may begin.
Yeah, it's actually Father Eamon Johannes was listening. He went away to get something to eat, so I have been listening with him for most of it. So I've been here for the last 15 years, working as a priest in the community. I've just come back because we're in a pilgrimage, so I don't know enough about the project. Anything that helps the life and the well-being of the people is good. And when we need a lot of help spiritually and physically, so I just commend the efforts to do something good and beautiful for the community, and that's all I can say. I pray it's going to be a good project, and the needs of the people first of all, will be taken care of. So that's all I have to say. Father Johannes is not available at the minute, so I just pray for the success of the project and that something very beautiful and good.
Sir, are you Johannes?
I'm Father Eamon Murray. Father Eamon
Oh,
Murray.
thank you, Father. So is Johannes, you said Johannes is not available?
Not available at the minute.
All right, no problem. Do you know if they support or they disapprove the project?
Yes, we support. Yes,
They
of course,
support.
we
Okay.
the project. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
If there are no more members of the public who wish to testify regarding the special permit proposal, we're going to stand at ease for about 20 seconds to see if anyone raised their hand or if anyone wants to run in this room and submit a speaker's card. I'll stand at ease for 20 seconds. All right, going once, going twice. All right. If there being no more members of the public who wish to testify on LU's 137 regarding 150 Mill Street rezoning proposal, the public hearing is now closed and the item is laid over. I will now open the second public hearing on LU's 138 and 139 relating to the 31-17 12th Street rezoning proposal in Councilmember Caban's district in Astoria, Queens. The proposal consists of a residential development with approximately 35 apartments. The rezoning would involve the mapping of a mandatory inclusionary housing, and as a result, part of the new housing will be affordable apartments. For anyone wishing to testify on these items remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online, and you may do that now by visiting the council's website at council.nyc/land use. council.nyc.gov/land use. And once again, for anyone with us in person, please see one of the sergeants to prepare submit a speaker's card. If you prefer to submit a written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I will now call the applicant panel for this item, which consists of Frank Shaney and Demetrius Drogadis. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying here. Council, please administer the affirmation once these gentlemen get settled.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony today and in response to council member questions?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. For the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Now the applicant team may begin. You may just reinstate your name and your organization for the record before you begin.
Good afternoon. My name is Frank Cheney. I'm a land use attorney with the law firm Rosenberg and Estes, representing the applicant and the owner of the property at 3117 12th Street. And I'm joined today by Demetrius Drogadis, the owner's representative, and we'll both be available to answer questions after the presentation. This application is for two actions. Next slide, please. The first action is an amendment of the zoning map to rezone a portion of a block in Astoria, Queens from an existing R5B district to R6B. And next slide. The second action is a text amendment to Appendix F of the zoning resolution to designate the rezoning area for MIH Option 1. And we'll talk a little bit more about the specifics of Option 1 in a minute. Next slide, please. The rezoning will extend the existing R6B zoning district directly to the north, down across the western half of the block to 31st Drive, covering about 150 feet back from 12th Street. Next slide. In addition to the development site, which is outlined in red on this slide, it's lot 13. The rezoning will include 8 other lots and small slivers of 2 lots, which under the split lot rules would be unaffected by the rezoning. Next slide. The text amendment will designate the rezoning area shown here on the right, outlined in red, as a mandatory inclusionary housing area subject to MIH Option 1. Next slide. Within the surrounding area, the predominant land use is residential with a scattering of institutional uses, which are blue, and light industrial uses, purple. As you can see, there's a community facility use directly adjacent to the development site and another one at the corner. The zoning in the surrounding area is a mix of R5B, R6B, and R7A. The predominant residential building type ranges from 2- and 3-story detached, semi-detached, and attached houses in the R5B districts to 6- and 9-story apartment buildings in the R7A district to the south and to the west. Next slide, please. The site is currently occupied by 5 buildings, one of which is a 2-story, 2-family house, and the other 4 buildings are single-story commercial buildings, 3 garages, and 1 building occupied by a window display business. It's a residential zoning district, so all the commercial uses in this on this property are legally non-conforming. Altogether, the 5 buildings locate a total of 5,826 square feet total floor area. That gives the property a 0.48 FAR, which, as you can see, is makes the site a substantially underutilized site. Next slide, please. Our proposed rezoning will change a portion of the existing R5B district R6B, which will increase the allowable FAR from 1.35 to 2.2. And next slide. Will increase the maximum building height from 33 feet without a setback to 55 feet after a 15-foot setback above a maximum 45-foot high base. Next slide. The rezoning will enable the development of a 5-story residential building consisting of a 4-story, 43-foot high base and a 5th floor set back 15 feet from the street, reaching a total building height of 53 feet. Next slide. The building will contain approximately 35 dwelling units in approximately 26,500 square feet and will have an FAR of 2.2. Subject to the next slide, please. Subject to the MIH Option 1, the building will have 25% affordable floor area consisting of approximately 9 dwelling units in approximately 6,629 square feet. It will have a maximum of 3 income bands averaging 60% AMI with a minimum 10% at 40% AMI. The maximum income band is 130% AMI. Next slide, please. This is a site plan. Looking in plan view, the site will have 42% lot coverage and 58% open space, consisting of approximately 2,000 square feet of green landscaped area and 15 parking spaces accessed by a driveway through the building on the left-hand side of the site. Next slide. And with that, we'd be happy to answer questions.
Thank you. I did not announce this, but we were joined by Councilmember Yusuf Salam. The proposed site has an existing residential and commercial uses. Do you have a relocation plan, and are the tenants aware of this proposal?
Yes, they are aware. It's the two commercial tenants that are there are a very small use companies. They have one has 3 employees, the other one has 2. But they are aware, and at the point that we do decide to break ground, they'll have plenty of time to relocate.
Do you have a relocation plan for them, or they have to figure this out themselves?
No, I assist with relocating them. That's one of my other jobs.
What is the breakdown of unit sizes you are proposing to build?
Currently, it will be primarily one bedroom apartments with perhaps as many as a half a dozen studios and a small number of 2 bedrooms. The exact distribution of unit sizes is still open. Once we
How many units is this entire
approximately
project?
35. It could vary depending on discussions with HPD. Once we get our approval, we begin having discussions with HPD.
And the studios, are the community boards supporting the studios? I'm trying to stray away from studios, to be honest.
Yeah.
But are the community boards supporting the studios units being
Yes.
proposed? Okay.
I think the vote was almost unanimous at the community board.
Okay. The proposed development includes 15 parking spaces. Are these parking spaces all required by the proposed zoning?
They are required by the current proposed zoning, but of course, as you know,
Yeah.
the parking requirement will be eliminated under City of Yes. And we spoke about this with Councilmember Caban, and she expressed her interest in and desire that we could do without so many parking spaces.
Will this increase more units if you do without these 15 parking spaces?
I don't think so, because we're already maxing out the FAR.
Okay. All right.
But, providing perhaps some additional open space is a possibility for sure that we'll be taking a look at.
Okay. And what about an electric charging station or something like that? Is that something to think about?
There'll be electric charging stations in the parking area.
Yeah, we've discussed this with our architect. So we've planned to have electric vehicle charging as well as scooter charging, and enclosed safe fireproof storage for those.
Just going to ask that. Good. That's good. Well, thank you. I have no more questions.
Okay.
That was easy, right?
Thank you so much.
Richard, take some notes, man.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any members of the public who wish to testify on this project? Council?
No, Chair, neither online nor in person.
There being no members of the public who wish to testify on LUs 138 and 139 regarding the 731-17 12th Street rezoning proposal, the public hearing is now closed and the items are laid over. I will now call the third and last public hearing on LUs 140 and 141 relating to the 250 86th Street rezoning proposal in Councilmember Brandon's district in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. The proposal seeks to rezone applicants' property. The proposal seeks to rezone applicant's property along with several other lots to make an existing building compliant with zoning. This will also increase the maximum allowed size of community facility uses within the building. For anyone wishing to testify on these items remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online. You may do that now by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/landuse. And once again, for anyone with us in person, please see one of the sergeants to prepare and submit a speaker's card. If you would prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I will now call the applicant panel, which consists of Richard LaBelle and Fayen Baton. Council, we already sworn Richard, so we could swear in Ms. Fayen Baton. Sorry,
It's okay.
I know I mispronounced her name.
It's
Sorry.
okay. It's Fayan.
Fayen.
Could you please raise your right hand? You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony today and in response to council member questions?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. For the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. And now the applicant team may begin. Just please reinstate your name and organization for the record.
Thank you, Chair. Richard Lobel of Sheldon Lobel PC. Good afternoon. We're here today to discuss the 250 86th Street rezoning. Next slide. This is a very straightforward rezoning application. The property, along with 9 adjacent parcels, are currently zoned R32. They are within the Special Bay Ridge District. 86th Street here is an extra wide street, as we'll demonstrate in the maps, and can easily handle the proposed rezoning, which would allow for the zoning of the property to be R6B. On the site, this would allow for the applicant's medical office to occupy a 2-story and basement building at 250 86th Street. There are no enlargements proposed pursuant to this rezoning, but it would legalize that condition. In addition to the rezoning, of course, we would also have an accompanying text amendment to allow for mandatory inclusionary housing in the rezoning area. The next slide is the proposed project area. You can see that the site is zone R32 in the Bay Ridge Special District. Next slide is a tax map, which demonstrates the site as well as 8 other full sites and a portion of an adjacent site to the east. And all of these would be R6B. You can also see the existing R6B along 3rd Avenue. This would be continued to the west in order to cover the site and these adjacent sites. The next site is the area map, which I think well demonstrates why the rezoning is appropriate. 86th Street here is a wide street at 100 feet wide, an extra wide street and a major thoroughfare in the area, and can easily handle the additional density. The existing R32 is not really productive for a wide street, given that the residential FAR is only 0.5, community facility FAR is only 1. In addition to that, there exists an R6B adjacent to the proposed rezoning area. This would merely be stretched to cover the site and these other sites, as well as the subway system, which exists 2 blocks to the east along 4th Avenue. So transportation in the area is good. The wide street condition supports the modest additional density, which would be allowed pursuant to the R6B, which would be currently a 2.2 FAR. The next slide shows pictures of the buildings in the area. These really reflect an R6B typology. Most of them are roughly 3 to 4 stories. The R6B itself caps out at 4.5 to 5 stories. So, easily 86th Street here could accommodate this additional proposed density, despite the fact that no additional density is proposed at this site were anyone to redevelop. You can see again the building typology along 86th Street along the next slide, which are these 3-story buildings. And to add a note, the existing floor area ratios of the 10 properties located within the rezoning area, most of them, if not all of them, I think 8 of them, 80%, are currently non-complying. So they're already all overbuilt. 4 of them are actually built to a floor area ratio of greater than an R6B. So prior to the rezoning, call it 80% of the existing properties do not comply with zoning. After the rezoning, a full 100% would either comply, or in the case of those properties built closer to a 2.4 to a 2.5 FAR, would come closer to complying. I would have the presentation forwarded through the remaining slides, which merely demonstrate the proposed modification of the existing building to allow for community facility medical office at the site. Dr. Helen Kim, who is the owner of the site, is a doctor who has had a longstanding practice in Bay Ridge, but has been unable to use this building for years because she's unable to convert it in light of the limitations of the R32. So, in conclusion, we think that the bulk would be appropriate here, and that the rezoning should be supported by the council, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Richard. That was good.
Got you.
Given the built character of the mid-block along 86th Street, why are you proposing to rezone to R6B? I know you stated that the block is wide and it could, it could support the density, but why are you proposing R6B?
Yeah, so Chair, in all honesty, on wide streets in other areas of Brooklyn, we have achieved rezonings of R6A or greater. In this community district, there have been long conversations. I brought many
Is
applications.
Ken on? Ken is a part of this project too?
Say that again?
Is Ken Williams?
Ken is a part of the project.
All right.
right.
Just wanted to state for the record that Ken Williams is also Kevin Williams is also on this panel.
Thank you. So we would think that this block could probably support floor area ratios greater than the R6B. Having said that, and having done much work in Bay Ridge before Community Board 10 and in the Bay Ridge Special District, we understand that in certain cases there are limitations as far as what an area will support and potentially what would be productive in terms of the ask. And so here the R6B would allow our applicant to move forward, would allow for a modest increase in density that is already reflected by the 4 properties to the east of this site. So that's why we selected R6B.
How are you proposing to address the community board's concerns, particularly the large FAR usage that's going to be taking place?
Yeah, I mean, the current maximum floor area ratio for an R32 is a 1 for community facility use. The proposed R6B would allow for a 2.2. There's already 2.2 existing along 3rd Avenue for the entirety of 3rd Avenue here. It's literally adjacent to these parcels. So we understand and are sensitive to the concerns of the area, but the idea that there's going to be some sort of massive development in this area and that there'll be buildings which will be atypical is just not supported by this district. This district basically would allow for the compliance of most of the properties that are already in this area. The soft site analysis really demonstrates that there would be no meaningful additional development in this area. So we respect the community board. We've had successful rezoning applications with them over the last couple of years. They did not choose to support this, but we would basically make the argument that an R6B is not just totally appropriate here, but is really merited.
What is the total square footage of the medical offices you are seeking to allow on applicant's site? And given the lot size, how much FAR does this require?
Yeah, I'm going to ask Fan to look at that information.
It's in the plans over there. So I know that for the total building, we're asking for FAR 1.54, which is around 3,090 square feet. I just have to double check the actual community facility space, but it would be for 2 floors out of 3. So the basement and the second floor would be for the medical offices. And
Can you say that FAR one more time?
1.54 approximately. And the community facility space would be in the basement and the second floor, with the 3rd floor being residential.
Can you confirm that the applicant has no plans to demolish or enlarge the existing building on the applicant's property?
The applicant has no such plans.
All right. With that being said, I have no more questions. This applicant panel is excused. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify on 258 6th Street rezoning proposal?
No, Chair, there is no one in person or online that wishes to testify.
All right. There being no other members of the public who wish to testify on LUs 140 and 141 regarding the 258 6th Street rezoning proposal, the public hearing is now closed and the item is laid over. That concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, land use, and other council staff, and the Sergeant at Arms to participate in today's meeting. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.
I know, right?